I'm more of a street smart person. I mean, I know how to read and write. I ain't dumb, but you know, more street smart.
Well, I'm Stephan323. That's my Instagram name. And right now, we on Sunday Funday. It's neutral zone. Funday Sunday is neutral zone. No bullshit, no drama. That's all I like to do is donuts. I don't street race. I do donuts.
Well, here's the most significant thing about street racing and how that works. You know, you can chase them off a street and all they're going to do is go to another street. So that's not a solution. You know, if they chased them off Van Nuys Boulevard, they go down to Balboa. Okay, if they chased them off of Balboa, they'd come back to Van Nuys. If they chased them off Van Nuys, they'd go back to Balboa. It would just continue like that. They finally chase them out of Van Nuys. They go to Glendale, you know, and there were streets in Glendale next to the freeway that they were running, and Griffith Park, there were streets they were running in Griffith Park. So that wasn't a solution. And since I was so involved in that culture, I said, wait a minute, you guys, you got it all wrong. You know, what you want to do is give them a place to go. They're here because they don't have any other place to go.
It sounds familiar. It's impressive that a man which is probably about 83 in 2020, 83 years of age, is basically describing what really happened after Canoga shut down. You guys went to another street.
Yeah, it definitely moved locations. I thought Canoga would come back, but it didn't. But they were just pretty much chased off into other streets and other cities, other areas, pretty much.
But it didn't kill you, did it?
Oh no, definitely not. It still kept going.
Good morning, Edward.
Good morning, Mr. Tiziano.
Oh, I like it when you're enthusiastic. I wanted to play you another bit of that interview on Stan the Man. Stan the Man talks about the situation in the 60s, and he was talking about cruising on San Fernando Valley, which was a very popular activity. So cruising on San Fernando Boulevard and Balboa Boulevard in the 60s. And he was talking about people complaining about the gathering of cars and people doing burnouts and all sorts of shenanigans that you are undoubtedly familiar with. And so he describes a scenario where there was a chance to do something different. Perhaps build a drag race strip in the valley. I actually saw the blueprints. I have it scanned, and who knows, maybe I'm going to show it at some point. But here's what he has to say about how he ended up meeting Big Willie, who was the founder of the Brotherhood of Street Racers.
Well, it also happened at the time that the powers to be that were Parks and Recreation were getting ready to add several more golf courses to the Sepulveda Dam area. They already had something like 6 or 7 courses in there, but they were getting ready to put in 2 more. And so I got everybody in that meeting to stand down and give me a week to come up with a plan. And during that week, I pulled together some of the car clubs in the area, and primarily the folks that were operating at the street racer lot. And we came up with a design for a multi-purpose facility that could be built on one of the proposed golf course properties. And I brought that to the community, the meeting, and they were going for it. There was an awful lot of activity. The car merchants that were complaining the loudest became our supporters. They gave us the space and they gave us the time. And out of that, I organized all the car clubs in the San Fernando Valley under the title of the Southern California Car Club Council. And for that entire summer, we were very active, And the cruising was more controlled. The merchants were happier about it, and things were going along well. And the city had given us a promise to find us a facility or to consider our proposed plan for the golf course area. Well, politicians are pretty smart guys. They know that if they drag it out long enough, you'll get bored and move on to something else. That's exactly what happened during the second summer. A lot of the car club folks that were really active in participating in the prior year were involved in other activities. And I had invested a tremendous amount of time and quite frankly, a significant part of my personal income. And I felt that we had a really good plan, a plan that was worth pursuing. And I frankly saw that in the second summer, it just wasn't going to happen. And I had read the article about Big Willie and the street racers, and I had seen some of the street racer jackets at the street racer lot in Van Nuys, and I knew that Willie was the manager of the Broadway Gym in South Central, and so I loaded up and headed down to South Central, and I walked into the Broadway Gym and I said, "Hi, I'm Stan."
Tell us what's the situation with different car clubs in the Valley. Let's draw a parallel. This is almost 50 years ago. What's the situation now? Because then we're going to go to South Central for the takeovers and the donut shows and side shows, whatever you want to call them. But let's start from the Valley.
In the Valley, we do have many car clubs, and that in itself gets divided into, there's race teams, there's car clubs that prefer just park and chill meets. Then you have people that do like to host donut type of events on the street, like takeovers and stuff. There's no unified person like, directing everyone or anything. It's kind of everyone does their own thing and they host their own events kind of, and everyone just kind of joins whichever they want to go to.
I wanted to ask you something. I remember 4 years ago, I think, I went to a Cinco de Mayo takeover. It wasn't like any donut or anything, but what I noticed is a lot of trucks of Mexican descent. They belonged to clubs that they had something to do with the job that their parents were involved in the agriculture field. I found that very fascinating. Can you explain that and how does it work?
I'm not 100% sure if that's the origins of the names, but I do see a lot of names that tend to be like, I don't want to give examples, but let's say there's a vegetable or a fruit that gets picked, and let's
say avocado, guac on top of everything in California and in LA. So let's say avocados.
Yes, there's actually, in Spanish the word is aguacate, and I think there's a truck club called aguateros, which is the root word there being avocados.
See where I'm getting at?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure. Like I said, I've seen a lot of truck clubs that have those kind of names, but I don't know none of them personally to ask them, hey, is that origin from your parents or something? So I don't know, but I have seen many, many, many truck clubs that have similar type names. And I mean, yeah, I can think of probably like 20, 25 different truck clubs. So
can we draw a parallel between clubs and movement? Can we make that distinction? I mean, can we say like that 818-1320, people buying your merchandise, represent a movement rather than a club? So within a movement, there are different clubs or like lone wolves, whatever you want.
So I sell the 818-1320 shirts and hoodies, and they're not meant for any one specific team, club, or person. I mean, everyone buys them, and I guess you could describe it as a movement, but it's not really like, it's not I don't consider the A1A1320 a team or one specific group. It's kind of meant for everybody. And at this point, yeah, it has become more broad.
I mean, even my grandmother at 94 wore a 818 1320 hoodie.
She fits right in.
She fits right in. All right, I wanted to, before we get to the side shows, here's a word from our lovely Fabian Arroyo, who's a member of the Brotherhood of Street Racers, who was the club founded by Big Willie, and he is a right-hand man. His vice president was Stan the Man, who we just heard from.
All right, this segment starts off with a clip from Heart Like a Wheel, which is a movie from 1983, it says. And it's showing a race about to happen.
No, I don't think so, sure.
We could use some money.
Tell you, I don't want to choke again.
When you're young, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to do foolish things. And they're making felons out of these people. And I don't appreciate that.
Now it's showing Fabian talking.
Back in the 50s, back in the 60s, Don Perdome, Shirley Muldowney, Tommy Ivo, Don Garlitz. You had all these people that street raced. It's in her movie, her biography. If they were caught doing that today, they would be a felon. But back in the day, they became a national star. I mean, she's one of the most recognized persons in the world, Shirley Muldowney. She's, a champion racer. Yet she would have never been that person if she lived 20 years later, 30 years later. So why do that to these kids? Why turn them into felons? Why turn them into criminals when they're not? They're just kids having fun, and they can't afford to go out to an NHRA event and buy a $150,000 race car and pay the $10,000 for the safety equipment and suit up in a race suit is $2,000. You think these kids have $2,000 to spend on a suit?
Fantastic. So, actually that clip is packed with information. We start with that movie, Heart Like a Wheel, is quite important because it describes life and times of Shirley Muldowney. Shirley Muldowney was a drag racer. Once upon a time, the street was a gym where people then will graduate to drag racing, so go from illegal to legit. And what he's saying is that nowadays that's not possible because you will become a felon in certain cases. All these people that became legend, even for the corporate world of the NHRA, they started in the street. And Heart Like a Wheel is a movie that depicts life and times of Shirley Muldowney. And so just to be accurate, according to Wikipedia, she was born in 1940, also known professionally as Cha-Cha. She was the first woman to receive a license from the National Hot Rod Association, NHRA, to drive a top fuel dragster. She won the NHRA Top Fuel Championship in 1977, 1980, and 1982, becoming the first person to win the 2 and 3 Top Fuel titles. She won a total of 18 NHRA national events. So in so many words, she's really badass. And what did she think of her movie?
I'm reading this, what you sent?
Huh?
I'm reading everything you sent right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Am I going to say anything before that or just start reading it?
I don't know, start reading it. I just already made the interaction.
Okay. All right. Mr. Tiziano is making me read this. It says, the 1983 biopic Heart Like a Wheel about how do you pronounce her name? Muldowney's?
Muldowney.
Muldowney. Okay.
Muldowney.
Muldowney or Muldowney? Is it L silent?
Why don't you call her Shirley?
So Shirley's life.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me read it all first. Make sure there's no other funny words in there. Is it Boney or Bonnie? And how the fuck is that last name? But Bedalia? Bedelia?
Bedelia, I reckon, or Bedelia. Why don't you give it a go? Make us laugh.
Fuck it, let's go. All right. The 1983 biopic Heart Like a Wheel. Sorry, the 1983 biopic Heart Like a Wheel about Muldowney's life and career starred Bonnie. Why are you laughing? I can't read while you're laughing.
Go on.
Starred Bonnie Bedalia. Muldowney would rather have had Jamie Lee Curtis play her.
Who wouldn't, eh? Jamie Lee Curtis. Do you know who she was? I mean, who she is? Is she still alive? Okay, you Google on your own time. You people out there, Google Jamie Lee Curtis, early 1980s, and you will see. Her nickname was The Body. That's all you need to know.
I'm looking it up right now. Jamie Lee Curtis. Oh, I know who she is. Name sounded familiar.
Hell yeah.
I just know her from the Halloween movies.
Yeah, exactly. She's the daughter of Tony Curtis. And back in the days, fun fact, I'll give you some movie trivial. People didn't know, or they would choose the name before they would know the sex a lot of times. So they decided to call her Jamie, which would be good whether it was a boy or a girl. And that also gave birth to a vicious and salacious rumor that she was born actually an hermaphrodite. If you don't know what hermaphrodite means, you can Google it on your own time.
Anyway. I know what
Anyway,
it means. Okay. So, we keep going. Okay, she called Bedalia, what did we say it was?
Bedelia, the actress
Bedelia.
who played Shirley Muldowney in the movie Heart Like a Wheel, because by now, you lost the whole fucking pace into the sentence. Anyway, go ahead. She called what?
She called Bedalia a snart and stated when she was promoting the movie on TV shows, she would tell when she was promoting the movie on TV shows, she would tell the interviewers she didn't even like racing. She got out of the race car like she was getting up from the dinner.
Okay, I'll take over because you can't even bloody read. Okay. The 1983 biopic Heart Like a Wheel about Muldowney's life and career starring Bonnie Bedelia. Muldowney would rather have had Jamie Lee Curtis play her. She called Bedelia a snot and stated, when she was promoting the movie on TV shows, she would tell interviewers she didn't even like racing. Muldowney had mixed feelings about the film itself, stating, "No, the movie did not capture my life very well at all. But more importantly, I thought the movie was very, very good for the sport." So I guess they achieved something. Anyway.
Hustling comes a lot of different ways. I can hustle and cut grass. I can hustle and save cans. I can sell dope. I can sell weed. I can sell heroin, powder. I can work the job in hustling, steal a toilet paper, sell cases or, mop brooms or something like that. Hustling come all ways. So when I say hustling, it don't mean necessarily selling drugs.
Now it's showing Pooh sitting down on a couch. Looks like a living room and he's looking at pictures.
If a person want to learn, there's opportunities out there for them to learn. They got schools, they got libraries and all that if you want to learn. I did enough just to get me past.
It's showing pictures. Looks like they're of Pooh when he was younger.
Love looking at pictures.
And there's pictures of him hanging out with multiple people.
Yeah, it's all good times.
All
It's
wearing
all
blue.
good times.
There's another picture that says, that's showing the back of a female. The shirt says, "Fuck the police."
I'm more of a street smart person. I mean, I know how to read and write. I ain't dumb, but, more street smart. I study the streets more than I read a dictionary or something like that. A lot of things I can do, I do, but I can't explain it. I can just do it.
It is a responsibility of the politicians to at least put a venue, a racetrack someplace accessible to the locals that the kids can race. Imagine if you take off all the soccer fields and the baseball parks out there, basketball courts. Where are they going to play? On the street. And then now you're going to have kids getting run over or creating a traffic accident. It's just an extension of what is not there. No racetrack, guys are gonna run on the street.
It goes back to Pooh talking and a clip showing him on Crenshaw. Is it Crenshaw Boulevard?
Yes.
Is there a name of that plaza there or something? Or like
I don't know, but it says Crenshaw Plaza. You will see later in a wider shot. I think the interview with what's his name with Footstamp is at Wingstop or something.
We do crimes, and I'm pretty sure everybody do crimes. They do it because you think you're going to get away. If you know you're going to get caught, you're not going to do it.
Well, I'm funday323. That's my Instagram name. And right now, we on Sunday Funday.
Don't kill me, nigga. My foot right there.
Pooh's in the passenger seat with his camera, and now it's actually switched over to Pooh's angle from the camera as Footstamp is doing donuts in a Camaro, and is showing Pooh's angle as they're going in circles, showing the crowd from Pooh's angle of his camcorder.
This right here keep me from out of the scene. A car scene keeps me from doing felony shit, end up dead somewhere like that. I can end up dead doing donuts and all that shit, but everybody say they got control, but I got control of my car. Simple as that. Bro, it's just like a kid in the candy store. It's motivated. Love it. I love it. This shit ain't gonna stop. You take one car and impound it 30 days, I get another one and build it in the same day. No problem.
So while they're doing donuts, looks like he's finishing up and he's parking the car. He reverses it to one of the corners. Pooh gets off the car. They both get off the car. They both get off the car and Pooh grabs the GoPro. He's still recording with the GoPro.
Motherfucker said, fuck the police.
I'm not going to say it's fuck the police and fuck the system. It's just my lifestyle. Everybody got their own lifestyle. You got people that love to smoke weed, smoke crack. I like to do donuts in my car. That's just what I like to do. Like I say, that's my drugs. I don't drink or smoke.
No, I don't never feel I'm in danger. Not out there, no. I feel comfortable out there. Only thing we worry about out there is the police.
Okay, so now they're back at a different spot, and we see Pooh recording now as two cars are doing donuts in the intersection.
I got a pause for my shit get dumbass. My shit get dumbass.
It's about losing control and gaining control back. That's a thrill to me. Sunday Funday, it's no danger. You can be a blood or a crip, your worst enemy right here, right now, ain't nothing gonna happen. Black or white, doesn't matter. I just see more white people out here in the middle of the crowd and nobody do nothing but just cheer them on, give them a beer and pass them a blunt. It's neutral zone. Funday Sunday is neutral zone. No bullshit, no drama. That's all I like to do is donuts. I don't street race, I do donuts.
What similarities can you see and what differences can you see between street racing and takeovers?
So with street racing, it's divided in two parts, in my opinion. You have at least when you ask me, that's the two I'm thinking of is the money races, which are the bigger private events, and then there's also race meets where people meet up and just race nonstop, and most of them are free races. So I feel that the free races, the nonstop racing, are very similar to the takeovers in a way where people go to hang out and watch a show kind of thing. So those kind of races, the show is the nonstop racing. At the takeovers, the cars doing the donuts in the intersection is the show. When you compare it to the private races, it's a little bit different because the private races want to get in and get out as quick as possible. The show is very short. They just want to do their business and get out. They don't want to be on the street. They don't want to attract the police at all. They just want to get it done and get out and not even be seen. At the takeovers, they tend to stay on the street as long as they can until the police show up. But at the same time, I think all three do have that factor of like, let's hang out with friends and have fun, just like one big hangout. I think all three share that.
Not everybody can do donuts, but let's assume that everybody can do donuts. It looks to me from the videos that the whole objective is how close you can go to the crowd and not hit anyone. And I don't know what is the point from the crowd, but I think that Food Stamp actually describe it perfectly from a driver's point of view. It's about losing control and gaining control. And for a street racer, and that there's no such thing. As a street racer, you don't want to lose control, right?
No, of course not. Yeah, you want the car to do a perfect pass, go A to B and get it there safely, nothing breaking. Like Food Stamp said, you lose control and gain control, and that's what it is. Like there's a set of skill there to control the car, because you can see people that go out there for the first time. You can tell who the new ones are because they'll turn the wheel and just gas it, and the car just does like a U-turn, then another U-turn, and a U-turn. Holding that circular, holding the car in that circle there is a lot harder than it looks. And most people don't understand that. Like the way you described it right now was just saying it's, done effortlessly and there's no skill involved or no competition. But that's why they do it. And it's like to see who has more control of their car. And see, watching the people controlling their cars is what I would like watching.
Would you say like that then drifting is the child between street racing and donuts?
That right there is a big debate. I mean, a lot will say no, some will say yeah. Me, I feel like, there's certain drifting that is obviously way more difficult. But I feel like the donuts on the street is like the beginning or the starters towards the drifting. Like that's where they're leading towards.
So you're going again into that concept expressed by Fabian that the street is the school where you graduate to a legit event, because drifting is actually a multi-million-dollar world championship.
Yeah, and a lot of times you see these pro drifters actually come out to the street and they'll go to industrial areas and they'll do they won't do the donuts, but they'll do like the intersections where they'll come in really fast from one end and then drift the whole turn on and turn onto another street. And those are the ones that say they started in the street. They would say they went and started off like industrial areas and just having fun there, and eventually grew their skills there and started doing it on smaller tracks and then bigger tracks.
Going by the parameters that we are judging people by the way they behave directly with ourselves. I quite like Food Stamp. I caught up with him at the Irvindale Speedway, where him and a silent or not so silent partner, I don't quite remember, rented the venue for a Sunday to run Sunday Funday, not on the street, but in a legit and controlled environment.
To rent it, it was $21,000. Everything came up to $44,000.
Do you consider yourself a bad guy?
No, I consider myself a good guy.
You're a good guy who wants to do good for its community, right?
Exactly. They don't see it like that, man. I'm trying to do something good right now. Look what happened. Everybody act like they got no fucking home signing.
You now see the people doing donuts at the track. So what exactly stopped it? Because it doesn't show it here.
Well, so what's happening is that they start doing donuts everywhere, so they got kicked out from the event, right?
So people were doing donuts in the parking lot?
Yeah, they were doing donuts in the parking lot. And so what I'm dragging at is like even his best attempt just was shut on by people.
People don't listen. They stupid as fuck. They don't listen, man. It was a legal event. Don't nobody want to listen. And look what happened now. $41,000 down the drain. $41,000 down the drain. That's some fucked up ass shit. Nigga, try $41,000 gone, nigga. $25,000, nigga, just for fucking sites, nigga. Everything is canceled. It's canceled. They closing it. And they calling more police up here right now. Cause niggas over here is burning out. So they feel it's gonna be a rowdy riot right now. The niggas back here burning rubber back here. All over there, cause they can't get on the track no more. They shut it down. Niggas wasn't listening over there. Hey! 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 No! 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 No!
But what he describes is saying that people couldn't get in because they shut it down, so they started doing donuts in the parking lot. So
people didn't want to respect the rules, so they didn't want to queue up. But it's difficult to know. Look, it's difficult to know, you know.
And as he's describing it, another car starts doing donuts in the parking lot. It's a Camaro, and he speeds off towards that Camaro, and he starts waving at him, telling him, just repeatedly telling him no, what are you doing? Stop.
It was basically more to stop the police from taking people to jail, impounding cars. But still, people can't come here with home training. They act like it's just no rules. Anywhere you go, there's rules. You don't do it on the streets, so why would you come here and do that shit?
Is it not that they do like that on the streets?
They don't do it on the street. Like the way they was acting today, no fucking home training.
But he tried, didn't it?
Yeah, that was big. That was $41,000 is a big investment, and I didn't go to it, so I'm not really sure exactly what led up to it, but from what I heard of the people describing it was they had certain rules inside the track on when where you could do donuts, or I don't know. They had rules inside the track that weren't being followed, and the officials got mad and said, you know what? No one's listening. We're shutting it down. And
yeah, I think, obviously I was there because I filmed it. I think there was a bit of naivety from a food stamp point of view, but there was definitely an exploitative attitude from the Irvingdale people. To be honest, I don't quite know if they're the same people, but the person that was in charge at the time was an absolute asshole. I usually will use the C word followed by U and an N and a T, and I would say a massive C-U-N-T. But, I don't know if they're still the same owners, but I don't have one single good thing to say about that person.
For me, yeah, I went to a few before in the past that were held on the weekends, but I've heard a lot of people say that it's not the same, and I would agree with them. I think a lot of as far as the takeovers, a lot of the we'll say fun factor there is knowing that you're doing it on the street and it's illegal, and then there's not really any rules. So on the street, the cars are doing donuts in a circle, and they're sometimes inches from you, feet from you. That's something that will never happen at the track, and a lot of people like that, like staring face right in the danger and as a spectator. And if you go to track, you're in the stands far away. It's almost like you're watching it on TV. And realistically, a lot of people I know, they're not sitting on YouTube watching cars doing donuts at home because it's not the same.
Yes, I agree with you. I think also, before we wrap it up, that one of the main things with the takeovers, is that it's an expression of a sentiment of a disagreement with the main society. It is a form of anarchism and a form of protest, whether justified or not, about a lot of disequalities that they are present in this society. My main objection about the whole thing is that the police has established a task force called Anti-Street Racing Task Force, and off the record I had several conversations with them. We tried to get the police interviewed, but there was a lot of red tape about it. But the main contentions that came out from our conversation was that their main worry wasn't street racing, in fact, but it was actually the takeovers, where there is apparently a big display of guns. I can't personally speak about that because I only went to 3 or 4 of them. But here's where the problem started. Like, they're trying to patrol traffic and they call themselves an anti-street racing division, and donuts have nothing to do with street racing. And the two things may go together, but most of the time don't go together. Would you agree or not?
I think they share similarities only with cars, but they're two entirely different things. And even though they're different, they still have groups that like both. But I still feel they're two different things, yeah. But in the news, you hear both of them described as street racing.
But also you have people that they just don't like each other. Like Bali Private is adamantly against the takeovers.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who from the street racing community that don't like the takeovers. And at the same time, I've seen people from the takeovers who say they don't like street racing and they're against street racing.
And with that, with this rift within the outlaws, it's time to say good morning, good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
Talk to you soon.
All right, Mr. Tiziano. See you later.